Hello, you're watching VNA News and now headlines as usual.
Mekong Delta seeks way to cope with saltwater intrusion. Vietnam's cashew exports expected to stay stable this year. Sơn Dong movie wins New York City Drone Film Award.
On March 7th, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng and leaders of relevant ministries and agencies held a working session with authorities of Mekong Delta provinces and cities to seek urgent solutions to coping with the current severe saltwater intrusion and drought.
Prior to the working session, Prime Minister Dũng paid a field trip to Đại Hải Commune, Kế Sách District, Sóc Trăng Province, where has seen severe saline intrusion. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the current saltwater intrusion is the region's most serious natural disaster over the past century due to impacts from the history's longest El Nino spell. As a result, saltwater has intruded into river mouths in the region, with the most severe intrusion of over 90 kilometers seen on Vàm Cỏ River. The salty condition is forecast to run until June, causing a serious lack of fresh water for production and daily life. As many as 139,000 hectares of paddy fields have been damaged since late 2015, while many local forests are facing high risk of fire. Addressing the conference, Prime Minister Dũng pointed out that the current saltwater intrusion is partly due to the construction of hydroelectric dams in the upper reaches of Mekong River, reducing river flows to the Mekong Delta region. For this reason, the government leader urged relevant ministries and agencies to soon compile a diplomat note requesting China to let water out of its hydroelectric reservoirs in order to increase water flows to the Mekong Delta. He also suggested the State Bank of Vietnam work with commercial banks to exempt loan interest for farmers who have suffered damage from saline intrusion and provide new loans for them to restore production.
The National Assembly Standing Committee convened its 46th session in Hanoi on March 7th, during which it expects to complete all preparations for the 11th meeting of the National Assembly, scheduled to open later this month.
National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng said the 11th meeting, the last gathering of the 13th legislature, will decide on the country's major matters in the next 5 years regarding socio-economic affairs, national defense and security, foreign relations, and mid-term finance. A number of positions will be adjusted to enhance the state's smooth operation after the Party Central Committee made personnel decisions following the 12th National Party Congress, he said. A report on the supplementary assessment of the actualization of the Socio-Economic Development Plan in 2015 shows that national GDP grew about 6.68%, the highest increase since 2008, even higher than the set target of 6.2%. In the next 5 years, efforts will be focused on macroeconomic stability, economic restructuring in tandem with growth model reform, democracy, social equality, and progress, climate change response, natural resources management, environmental protection, national defense and security, and international integration. Another report reveals that state budget overspending in 2015 hit $11.52 billion, accounting for 6.11% of GDP. State budget collection was close to $44.9 billion, up nearly $3.9 billion, or 9.4% of the estimated figure.
The Innovation Roadshow 2016 took place in Hanoi on March 7th, opening up opportunities for U.S. and Vietnamese businesses in the field of science and technology to connect together and boost cooperation. Let's take a look.
The event was organized by the U.S. Embassy in Vietnam and the Vietnam Ministry of Science and Technology as part of an initiative to connect U.S. and ASEAN. Speaking at the event, U.S. Ambassador to Vietnam Ted Osias stressed that innovation and creativeness is necessary for the future of both countries, expressing his hope that the event will foster the spirit of innovation and creativeness in Vietnam, as well as the development of startup businesses in the country. The U.S. is home to thousands of the world's leading tech corporations. As such, through programs like the Innovation Roadshow 2016, Vietnam hopes to create the environment to connect Vietnamese startup businesses, as well as interested parties to share ideas and experience. Also at the event, businesses from both Vietnam and the U.S. introduced their latest innovative products, particularly in the fields of agriculture, industry and services.
The Vietnam Cashew Association forecasts cashew nut exports this year are expected to reach last year's figure or slightly increase. More in the following report.
In the first 2 months of the year, enterprises exported 37,000 tons of cashew nut, a year-on-year rise of 5.3%. The association said global demand for the nut was expected to remain high this year, especially in the U.S., Middle East and Chinese markets. However, domestic cashew processors have not had enough materials to process for exports. Large cashew processing firms had just enough materials for processing until last month, the association said. In the domestic market, the price of raw cashew nuts has increased by 5,000 to 6,000 Vietnam dong per kilo over last year, while the import price of the raw nut from other countries has also gone up significantly. Lower tariffs under free trade agreements, including the Trans-Pacific Partnership, would enable Vietnamese firms to increase exports to member countries, according to the Cashew Association.
Vietnam imported about 5,000 completely built-up unit cars in February, 1,000 units less than the previous month.
The General Statistics Office said this was a sharp fall in car imports this year, but this had been expected because of the 9-day Lunar New Year holiday in February, during which business operations and transactions were suspended in the market. In addition, the government began applying a new calculation of a special consumption tax on January 1, 2016, which caused the price of imported cars to rise by an estimated 5%. Therefore, many people bought cars in the last few months of last year before the new calculation came into effect. The turnover of imported cars is predicted to increase this year, but the auto market will not experience a boom as in 2015. Vietnam imported 11,000 cars in the first 2 months of this year, a decrease of 31% year-on-year.
Commercial bank employees received an average monthly wage of 13 to 23 million Vietnam dong, about 590 to 1,045 US$ last year, up 1 to 4 million Vietnam dong against 2014, thanks to banks' better performance.
The latest financial reports released recently by 11 banks showed that employees at Vietcombank got the highest monthly average wage. Techcombank also reported an average wage rise, helping more than 7,600 of its employees to receive 21 million Vietnam dong as monthly salaries. The average salaries at other banks, including BIDV, Vietinbank, VIB, and AMB, also remained high. A report by Naviga's Search showed finance and banking topped the list of 10 industries that offered the highest salaries to mid-level and senior managers last year. Though the finance and banking industry was facing a slew of challenges, it gave monthly wages of 100 million to 200 million Vietnam dong to mid-level and senior employees in northern Vietnam last year, followed by the manufacturing and real estate sectors. Naviga's Search also said finance banking will also be one of the 4 industries that will have the strongest recruitment demand this year.
World Bank resourced $383 million from its International Development Association budget to help build bridges and upgrade roads in Vietnam's disadvantaged areas.
The project, approved by Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng, aims at ensuring traffic flow in areas populated by ethnic minorities. Under the project, 2,170 bridges will be constructed. Meanwhile, approximately 676 kilometers of roads will be upgraded, and over 61 kilometers receive constant maintenance. Beneficiaries of the project include the provinces of Hà Giang, Lai Châu, Nghệ An, Hà Tĩnh, Ninh Bình, Hải Dương, An Giang, and Sóc Trăng.
Vietnam's internet speed was ranked 12th in the Asian region. The information is unveiled in a report by the US-based content delivery network service provider Ankame Technologies.
The report showed that Vietnam's average internet connection speed in the third quarter of 2015 was 3.4 megabytes per second. The Republic of Korea stood at the first place in the region, followed by Japan and Hong Kong, China. The Republic of Korea also took the top spots in the global ranking of internet connection speed. Meanwhile, Vietnam was ranked 97th globally after China, but ahead of the three other Asian nations, namely Indonesia, the Philippines, and India. By the third quarter of last year, 31% of Vietnam's connection met the standard. Meanwhile, the rate was 33% in China, 10% in the Philippines, and 14% in India. At high broadband speeds, or those that are more than 10 megabytes per second, the rate in Vietnam was only 0.6%, ranked 71st globally.
The central city of Da Nang will install camera systems to have public security timely response to emergency cases of traffic accidents or public disorder.
The cameras will be installed in the second quarter of this year. The city has already installed 5 camera systems at more than 4,700 sites where there are traffic lights to monitor traffic accidents and violations. They were also installed in tourism areas. As scheduled, all camera systems will be operational in 2016 in preparation for hosting the Asia-Europe Economic Cooperation Forum activities in 2017. Last year, a camera system recorded 62 traffic violations along Thuận Phước Bridge. A report from the city stated that the city's court handled over 1,000 criminal cases in 2015, and public security in the city ranked 28th out of 63 provinces and cities nationwide. The city also has plans to install sensor systems to monitor air pollution.
A documentary film about Sơn Đông Cave in the central province of Quảng Bình has won the News and Documentary Award at the New York City Drone Film Festival, which concluded on March 6. The event was first held in 2014, drawing 150 entries from 19 countries. A local man first discovered Sơn Đông Cave in 1991. Hidden in the UNESCO-recognized World Heritage Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng National Park, the cave is the world's largest, with more than 200 meters in width, 150 meters in height, and approximately 9 kilometers in length. Within its caverns lie a jungle and a river, and the cave is large enough to fit a 40-story skyscraper inside. The cave wowed millions of American viewers as the American Broadcasting Company adds live a signature program featuring its resplendence. The American news website HuffingtonPost.com declared the cave as an absolute must-see. Sơn Đông Cave was also listed among the 52 places to go in 2014 by the New York Times Travel. In 2015, Sơn Đông welcomed over 500 visitors. And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.